All right. So today I want to have a hard conversation. I guess it can be hard, but it depends how it goes. So we've been hearing a lot about honeypot, and there was tons of rumors that were circulating about honeypot. Did they sell their company and what it felt like when honeypot sold? And did they change their formulas and kind of this almost a personal attack that a lot of us felt because of what honeypot did? So I just kind of wanted to have a conversation about selling our companies and what that means and why we are so tied to it as Black people. And I want to kind of start the conversation by saying when you're starting a company, you often need capital. If you're getting capital from an investor, they often are going to have you put a structure together, or you're going to have you write a proposal, write a plan out, and a part of that plan will often be the exit strategy. What is your exit strategy? Any investor will ask you, what is your exit strategy? And for a lot of brands, their exit strategy is selling it to a company that will buy them out. That is the goal that you work towards. I'm working for my company to be worth enough of money so I can sell it and not have to do the day to day grind anymore with my company. So I just want to give you some examples of when that has happened, where that has been an exit strategy that companies that we know have done. Carol's daughter, a part of their exit strategy was selling their company. They sold their company for $27 million to L'Oreal. So that is an example of someone who built up a company. Carol's daughter was doing fantastic. When it got to that point where she can pull out $27 million, she did that. She sold her company to get that $27 million. Also, Rachel Dennis, he sold Shea Moisture to Unilever for $800 million. So when he grew up his company enough that when it got to the point where he can sell it, he chose to do that. He chose to sell his company in exchange for a payout. And I want us to just have a conversation about why we are uncomfortable with companies doing that. But I kind of want to just put a caveat in there. Honeypot did not sell. Um, Honeypot did not sell their company. However, the rumor was that Honeypot sold. And so that was the rumor that people were circling that Honeypot sold. And because Honeypot sold, or we assume they sold, it was kind of just a personal attack that people felt because they thought Honeypot sold. So I kind of want to have a conversation about the purpose of companies is that not all every company is different. Every company has a different exit strategy. Every single company does. And but selling could be a part of that strategy. And there's a lot of things that happened. I just saw a comment in Rentals in this bought other companies. Yes, that's a great point. When he sold his one company, that gave him the capital he needed to invest in other companies. And so there are always the plan that's happening, that what the companies, what the founder is trying to do. That by me accessing this capital, I can buy something else. By me selling Shea Moisture, I can buy Essence. I think Rich bought Essence. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he bought Essence. So by him selling Shea Moisture, he was able to be able to walk another lanes. And I think that we need to talk through that process. That at some point, it's like we almost should be proud of brands. We should be proud of Black brands that grow up their company enough that can sell it. They can grow up their company enough to make business moves. It can without it being a personal attack on their audience. Yes, you're absolutely right, Shantae. Some companies get backlash and some companies don't. You are exactly right. Some companies get backlash and some companies don't. And what I'm seeing, and I don't have all the data to support to back this up, but it feels like Black companies get backlash, but white companies don't. There's tons of Black companies that have done this, that have sold their companies when they buy it up, when they grow enough, they sell their company. And the question is, honestly, Shanta, that's a great question. Why? Why are we not allowing our Black brands to grow and thrive? Why do we have a problem with that? Even though Honeypot did not do it, if she chose to do it, why do we have an issue with it? Let her grow. Let her thrive. Let her do the things that she wants to do. Let her make the moves that she needs to make without us pulling her down. Because those comments, I had to block them some. Like they were getting very tense and very harsh, and there a lot of backlash and a lot of almost like we were trying to cut her at her core and cut her coming down at her core when she's making a business move. Here, thank you for talking about this. Yes, why? Why is it? Yes, yes, yes. The Black community feels like it is their company. Oh, I want to talk more about that. The Black community feels like Black companies are theirs. I've had this conversation with employees of mine, just to be a little real with you guys. I have employees who work for Black and Green, who I would have to make business decisions that was not exactly what they wanted to do. And they would get personally offended. They would get personally attacked because I made a business choice that was counter what they thought should be done. I think, Shantae, you're right. It's because we feel this ownership in Black businesses. When you work for a Black business, you have this ownership. When we have Black businesses as a consumer of those products, we take ownership in those companies, and we could think we want them to move exactly how we want them to move. And it's kind of like it's really sad at the way that we do that because we aren't allowing Black businesses to grow and thrive because we are holding them back in some ways. Buy Black brands, buy Black products, see them grow, see them thrive. Rejoice when they sell. Rejoice when they got a deal for $27 million. Be happy when that happens. Let's not try to. Why are we giving them this backlash for that? Don't not have enough high growth companies in our community. Exactly. We don't have enough high growth companies in our community. We absolutely do not have enough high growth companies in our community. And we're trying to create them. And it's hard to create them if when they want to sell or when they want to move on to something else, that we are constantly giving them backlash because of the choices that they're making. We need to uplift our Black businesses, and it comes in a lot of ways. It comes in buying their products, support them, support their products, buy their products, and it also comes to allow them to make the business choices they need to make for their brands to grow and thrive, and trust them to make sure they walk always in those steps to push their brand forward. Ooh, I did not know that, Jade. Black Hair Brand just sold, and she hasn't received any backlash. I think you're making a very good point that and Honey Pot did not sell, and they received backlash like they sold. And so Black brands actually, other brands actually do sell and receive no backlash, but a Black brand does not sell. We assume they sold, and then they get a backlash because of what we thought. And so I just think that we need to move different. We need to move different. We all need to move different. Yes, it's important for you to support Black brands. Yes, it's important for you to do that. Also, trust that it's a business and it's not your business. It's their business and that they're going to grow and thrive and try to exit. You don't know what her exit strategy is. Her exit strategy may be selling it to get this capital to invest in other things. That might be her choice. That might be what she wants to do from a business perspective, and be okay with that. Don't try to. Black and Green really stands on the fact of trying to support Black women entrepreneurs in all the ways possible. We want to see their businesses thrive, we want to see them be successful. We do not want to control what business decisions they make. Someone just asked me, do you ask about financials when people come on Black and Green? No, we don't ask about financials. That's not important to us to understand their financials. That's not something we need to know. What we're here for is to give them a platform to sell their products. That's it. That's it. I don't need to know what their numbers are. I don't need to know how many units they're selling. I don't need to know any of that. I need to know, is your product fantastic? Is it packaged correctly? Does it meet our needs? Bam. The rest that's all we need to know. My business coach will also probably get mad at me a little bit because I oftentimes run Black and Green not like a business. I run it like a passion project. I run it because it's the way it's important to me. And oftentimes not, oh, I see a question. I do not agree. Oh, I want to see this. I want to see this. I do not agree with the threats and things of that nature. The transparency should have been there because now there are women we're experiencing irritation now having that whole phase and promiscuous. Yes, 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 yes. I agree with that. It wasn't as transparent as it should have been. And I think she admitted that they didn't do a good job at being very transparent in the ways that they were outrolled that. So I definitely agree with that. That Black brands always have a responsibility. All brands, all companies always have a responsibility to be transparent and honest with their customers. And I think she admitted that they were not. But all the things that were happening around her did not allow her to be as transparent as she should have been because the formula has changed. When the formula changed, you have to be honest and transparent and clear. Transparency is always key. So she definitely should have been transparent about the formula changes. I know they were very transparent with Black and Green, but I'm not their key customer. So they should be very transparent about the changes they're making. But we have to receive those changes, and then you have a decision to make. If they were transparent about the things that they're making, then you make the choice. You do your research. I use Environmental Working Group (EWG) to measure the toxicity of the ingredients. Then you choose for yourself: does this work for me, or does this not work for me? And you move accordingly to that. But because you chose to make because the company chose to make some kind of changes to their formula, does not mean we should badmouth her or do a backlash or kind of tear that company down. It's a business decision, and she chose for whatever reasons that she needs to change her formula. And to be completely honest, that's the reason why Black and Green works the way that it does. We are able to buy products in small quantities. Because we can do that, we can get more natural products because we aren't worried about their shelf life. We can get a natural product that we are not worried about their shelf life. If I was a large brick and mortar, if it was a large big box store, I would care a lot about shelf life because I need to know when I buy this product, how long do I have to sell it? I have a big box store. If I'm buying thousands and thousands of units, I need that thing to sit on my shelves for years. But if I had my small marketplace, I don't care about the shelf life being years and years and years because we're gonna sell through. We buy enough for a month. We buy enough for a month, or we can sell through our inventory in every month. That allows us to be able to sell products that don't have all the preservatives because we know we can move through it really, really quickly. We know we can move through it really, really quickly. That means we're very contingent upon, and we look at our data to see what you guys are purchasing. So what you guys purchase weighs on what we order. And so when we watch your purchasing trends, like, this product is moving. We sold that many units last month. Let's buy this many units next month. And so we're constantly watching your behavior to know what we should buy. And the nature of the way that we are designed, we can buy products that are more natural because we're buying them in smaller quantities. We can go in these big box stores, you have to ship out orders of thousands of units. We aren't buying thousands of units, one, because we can't afford it, and two, because that's the beauty of Black and Green, that we don't have to buy thousands of units. We can buy 30 units of something. We can buy 40 units of something. It can sit on our shelf for 1 month and make sure we get it right into your hands. So we allow those really, really quick turnaround times so we can buy in smaller quantities. Another benefit of smaller quantity is making larger quantities is expensive. It's very, very expensive. And so our small indie Black women owned brands could not afford to make those larger quantities. But for ordering 30 units, 20 units, 40 units at a time, they can afford to do that without having a big capital intake to make that happen. So we allow smaller indie brands to enter the marketplace, but they could not enter it in other marketplaces. They might not could go into Target is expensive. You need insurance. You need a lot of capital to get the products out. Sometimes they have a net 180 days. What that means is you send them all these products, it takes them 180 days before they pay you. So that's capital they need to be able to get their products in those stores. It can be very expensive for them to get in these big box stores. So Black and Green is trying to meet that gap. We're trying to be a place for Black women-owned brands to enter the marketplace without all the expenses of the expensive insurances, without paying all these expensive marketing fees. We're trying to do all that legwork for them to try to help them get their products in your hands. So that's what makes Black and Green different. And I just want us to always make sure we have an attitude of grace where we're talking about Black businesses, because we don't own the Black businesses. Customers do not own the Black business. The Black business is responsible for trying to meet your needs. And so that's their goal. They're trying to meet your needs. But at the end of the day, it is a business. And sometimes the business decisions don't always match with our decisions. I just all think of thank you for normalizing exit strategy. Yes, that could be a hand off the family sunset due to the low self. Yes, yes, yes. We don't talk about exit strategy. We often don't talk about exit strategy. I was just talking to my house my not my he comes to do the work in my home. He fixes little things, and it's a company that his dad created. He passed it down to him, and so his brain, My exit strategy is to pass it down to my son. But he was just telling me his son doesn't want the company. And so now that puts him in a position like, wow, I thought this was going to be a passed on company. It might not be that. So what is my new exit strategy now? So when you're looking for investors, you always have to think about exit strategy. And you might think, oh, this is going to be a company that lives on and on and on in my family, but your family might not want to do it. Yes, it will be posted so you can watch later. And so you have to think about exit strategy. I understand if you aren't in the business world, you don't understand that. So it might be shocking to you, but for everyone who's yes, it should be exciting. I don't understand why she got backlash. If she actually did exit, we should be rejoicing. We should be happy. I'm so happy you got $270 million to sell your company. Congratulations. Thank you for getting your piece of the pie. It's so exciting to be able to exit in that way. That means that her company was valued at that high of a rate. And she got someone committed to buying it at that high of a rate. That should be a way for Black people to rejoice and be excited about it. I'm so excited to see a Black-owned company get that kind of estimate of how much their company is worth and find a buyer for it. Oh, that's so exciting. That and I wish that we got she got more of a joyous reaction instead of a negative reaction to her possibly selling. Yeah. I so we have to we I want us all to like at least understand that Black owned companies, all companies have exit strategies, and I want us to walk around with being rejoiceful and being joyous when they can sell. I think that's a joyous thing. I can name more companies that have sold. Think about Jay-Z sold Rockaware to Iconics brand for $240 million. I didn't hear a backlash when he did that. I'm talking about the honeypot. There was a lot of rumors about honeypot that she sold her company, and there was a big uproar and a big frustration of people who thought she sold her company and she changed her formulas. And there's a lot of people who felt personally attacked by the things that she did. So that's just what I'm talking about now, and understanding that exit strategy is something that happened, and I wanted to walk away with being joyous and being happy and excited when brands sell, because that means that it's a way for them to grow. Now they have access to capital to do bigger and better things. Yes, 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 yes. I don't understand why it's. I almost, Shantae, let's do a podcast about this, because selling your company is not selling out. It's not selling out. It's getting access to capital to do other things. That's what it is. Getting capital for Black brands is hard. It's hard. It's so hard. You can't just walk into a bank and just get them to write you a check. You can't. So you have to get access to capital. We don't honeypot might not be the only idea she has. Maybe she also want to do this and she also wants to do that. But now she sells her company, she can have the capital to make other moves. So we don't often don't think about the other things that she can do with the access to capital. But I want to say again, she did not sell her company. She did not sell her company. She did not. She did not sell it. She did not sell it. But there's a rumor that she sold it, and she sold out because she sold it. Yes, yes, yes. Let's see, make sure I don't miss any comments. Yes. You are absolutely right. That is oftentimes a goal. I want to grow to the point where I can be bought out. I want to grow. That's not my goal. But there's a lot of companies who that is their goal. They want to grow until they can be bought out. I'll explain to you why it's not my goal. It's because I know there's there's something about the core of Black and Green. Honestly, I'm just keep it real with y'all. Black and Green don't make no money. We don't make no money, and so we couldn't be bought out. So the way I operate Black and Green, it can never be bought out, because when people look at the numbers, they would say we're not buying you, because we don't operate like a company that's trying to make money. We don't operate like that. Our ethos is to kind of try to connect you with natural, non-toxic products that are made by Black women. That's our goal. That's the direction we move in. And so we do not move in a direction to make the most money as possible, because we will make a lot of decisions differently that we don't do them. So that's not my goal. But I say that to say I'm not going to talk bad on somebody who is their goal. Just because it's not black and green's goal doesn't mean it's a wrong goal to have. That is oftentimes a goal, because running a business takes work. It takes work. It's not for the weak. And oftentimes people who are running businesses, they just want to have a point where they can exit and get out of the day-to-day hustle of it all. So their goal might be, I'm trying to grow my company up to be big enough. So right when it's this big, I can sell to a larger company so I can go invest in other things. And oftentimes entrepreneurs are thinkers and they have a lot of ideas. The one company that you know is not the only thing that they want to do. It's not the only way that they want to change the world. If they can grow up this one idea, so now that they can get access to the capital to go do the three other ideas that they had, but they couldn't have gotten money to do those three other ideas, then that's exactly what they would do. So we need to understand that our brands, our Black owned brands, that we support them, and that when they decide to exit, we support them in doing what they need to do. And I want us to have a different attitude about exit strategy. It's not selling out. It's like, congratulations that you got your company to be to a point where people saw it being worth that much money. Congratulations that you now have access to capital to make other moves in the world. Congratulations for doing that. I know I congratulate them, because there would never be a rumor that Black Green sold for nobody's millions of dollars, because we ain't worth millions of dollars. Oh gosh. Let me see if I have any more questions I might have missed out on. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Let's talk about that. My brand was perceived differently when I went from making in my kitchen to manufacturing. Ooh, hoo, hoo. Let's talk about that. Yes, it was perceived differently because it was also a different product. It was, even though your ingredients were the same, you had a different product now, and the narrative is different. Oftentimes people buy off of the story. They buy off of the connection. They buy off of hearing who you are. And so people buy into your story. They buy into your connection. There's a joy they get out of knowing that it's made in your kitchen or it's made in your bathroom. It feels like this homegrown, homemade thing. So when you move over to a manufacturing place, oftentimes it doesn't feel that same way. It doesn't feel the same indie way. It doesn't feel as gritty, because your story changed and people have bought into your story. So understand that there can often be something that you have to adjust to. And I would say, test it with your audience. Test it with your audience. Do customer discovery. Do customer discovery. Say, hey, we're thinking about making this change. We're thinking about going in this different direction. What do you guys think about that decision? Always try to move with as much information and as much data as possible. You don't know the answer to questions, you do not ask. Always ask questions. You never know how your customer will actually feel. So that's what I would say to that one. See if I missed any more questions. I don't want to get off. Okay, I think I got them all. All right, all right. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me again. Again, I just want the key walkaway is that selling out and selling your company is not selling out. So those two things should not be connected. Selling your company is something that we should be proud of. We should be proud when our Black owned companies were, we decided that they were worth millions of dollars to a point where an investor wanted to come in and buy that company, and not an investor, another company wanted to come in and buy that company. And they decided to exit in that way. It's a beautiful thing that she was able to do that. I will say that she should have been more transparent about the formula changes, which she admitted that she should have done that in a better way. But we also have to give her grace and understand that we're in the middle of a pandemic still. It feels like we come off of it, but we're still in the middle of a pandemic. We're in the middle of supply chain issues. We're also in the middle of ingredient issues. And so sometimes just being caught between a rock and a hard place of trying to make too many decisions too quick made her not always walk in the right step. Give her grace. And give her grace. And she's a human. She's a woman trying to run her company. We all make mistakes. You make mistakes. I make mistakes. We are human. We will always make mistakes. But the most important thing is that she owned up to it. She admitted that she made a mistake and she apologized for it. Now we just gotta, we have to accept her apology, and just that's the best that we can do, is just accept her apology. But I do want the key thing for y'all to walk away with is that selling your company is not a sellout. You're not a sellout when you sell your company. Selling your company gives you access to more capital to make other decisions. A lot of people are lifetime entrepreneurs. They will always be doing something. The second Rich sold his company, he did 3 or 4 other things. So giving access to capital allows him to catapult and keep moving and keep moving and keep moving. You don't want to keep doing the same company all the time. So we should be proud of companies when they are able to sell. Let me see, make sure I don't have any more questions. See here. I think I got them all. If anyone has another question, just let me know. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This was really fun. This is honestly my favorite live I've done because I've been feeling kind of iffy about these lives. They haven't felt like I had a lot of passion when doing them. So I've been feeling kind of iffy about doing them, but I really, really enjoyed this one. If you guys have any other ideas of things I can go live and talk about, just let me know. I'm actually going to put my email in here so you guys can personally email me and let me know a topic that you want me to talk about. We talk about the ingredients. Yes, yes, yes. We can talk about that. Actually, I can just go ahead and say that right now. Her ingredients. Oh no, no. Okay, we can talk a little bit about her ingredients. Her ingredients did change from going to the platform I use for. Yes, I will be saying the live. The platform I use to look at the toxicity of ingredients is called the Environmental Working Group. So I go in there and I go into Skin Deep to look at the ingredients and see how they perform. Her before the formula changes, her product was about a 4. After the formula changes, her product was a 5. So that moves into the more toxic range for black and green. So for black and green, we won't carry the washes anymore because it moves up to be too toxic. It's right on the borderline when we accepted it, but any kind of pushes above a 3 or outside of our range. And so it won't be on black and green. So that's the website that we use to measure how toxic an ingredient is. It's called the Environmental Working Group. You can go to Skin Deep. You can go to Build Your Own Report. So before Black and Green existed, when I was trying to make my selection about what products to buy, I oftentimes would use that website to push the ingredients in to measure the toxicity level. So that can be a great resource for you guys to look at. And right, make sure I don't have any other question. Thank you for answering. I'm talking about honey pot. And yes, I am saving this live. Okay. Oh, I was in the middle of typing my email, so y'all can let me know any other topics to talk about. Because our plan is to go live every Saturday at 2 o'clock. And I would love to talk about anything, ideas that you guys have for me to talk about. Let me see here. I'm just typing in. All right. There is my personal email address. So you guys can email me directly. Any kind of questions or comments, and just make sure you put in the header, say topic for IG Live to make sure I receive it. So just say topic for IG Live, and I will make sure I talk about it on the next Saturday when we come in. If you guys don't have any more questions for me, I'm going to wrap this up in the next minute or so. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for supporting Black and Green. Thank you so much for supporting Black and Green. So in all the ways that you support us, whether it's buying products, whether it's coming up to our IG lives, whether it's coming to in-person events. Thank you for that. For you guys to support Black and Green. That means a lot to me. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and go. So thank you.